dreams into destinations, one face, one body, and one hard time at a time. Coming at you this week. Look at my notes here. So we are on week 10 right now. Week 8, week 9. And let's talk about last week that I missed. So I had a good week overall. So the week I didn't record, I lost 3 pounds. Then I gained the 3 pounds back. So I'm sitting at a 15. And as I recorded in the last video, my scale shows I have 15 pounds to lose. And my doctor's scale shows I have 25 pounds to lose. So we are 10 to 15 pounds away from my date. I'm going to just say 25. We're going to stay on the doctor's schedule. So if you haven't been watching my videos, I'm going to give you a rundown of what's been happening. So I started recording on my 3rd week because I really wasn't going to document my journey, but I decided to go ahead and document. So I'm going to give you a rundown. Week 3, when I started, I was on the ball. Everything was going good. I was staying under my 1,400 calories in week 3. And I lost weight every week but last week. So I'm staying in my 1,400. I wasn't going over. I was really excited. I was really hungry. I was just trying to get through the first hump. And my first 7 to 10 days up to 21 days for me is the hardest. Week 4, I worked out for 2 days. I was pumped up, and I said the next week I wanted to do 3 days. Well, I have not exercised since then on week 4. Week 5, things started to crumble down. From week 5 all the way up to now, which is I'm getting ready to start week 10. So this is the beginning of week 10. So week 8 and 9 is what I'm going to be discussing today. But in my review, week 5, I started feeling bored with the weight loss because I was losing every week and I was successful every week, and I was not having as many emotions because I still had addictive substances in my body, and I was really not showing no withdrawal. But in week 5, everything hit the fan. My emotions got raw because I wasn't using my drug of choice no more, and it felt like I had so much to cope with. Like, all these feelings came out of nowhere on week 5. So that was the week of Super Bowl, week 5. Week 6. Week 6 is when I claimed to be down 50 pounds. Let's see. So from 65 to 25 is 40 pounds. But remember, my scale and the doctor's scale is 10 pound difference. So his scale, he's not showing the first 20 pounds. My first 20 pounds was all water weight. And I lost that the very first week, 20 pounds. And then I lost the other 20 was just sweat and grind. So that was on week 6. So I did not lose 50 pounds in 6 weeks, people. It was more like 30 because 20 of the pounds was water that came off the first week. All right, so that's week 6. I was talking about being feeling empty, not having food as a crutch anymore, that I was less hungry on week 6. I was on the 0.50 at this time, which now I'm on 1. When I first took my 1.0 of Wegovy, I felt that one. I felt it a teeny bit at 0.5, but 0.1 I feel it, but I can still tell that I need to go up to higher doses because I feel like my shot is not lasting all week. So I'm grateful to be on phentermine along with this, and my body has adjusted to phentermine, so I'm not jittery or high or anything like that, and I still have to work my tubes. So in my opinion, phenamine is wearing off, whereas Wegovy is picking up. So that was a great idea to start me on phenamine to help me right now while we're waiting on Wegovy to kick in and help me the duration of my life. So, week 7, okay, week 6 was also a victory week. I did not eat the Valentine's Day cupcakes that the company brought in. Another thing is week 7. Week 7 is when I went to see the doctor. That's when I actually went to see the doctor, and I did not meet my weight goal like we spoke about. I have 25 more pounds to go according to his scale, and that's fine. And I was just talking about how May the 20th was supposed to be the determination date. However, based on my previous visit to the doctor, we have pushed it back to June 2nd or 3rd. It's on a Monday after Memorial Day. So what he's done is giving me 8 weeks to lose 2 pounds a week to get the weight off, which will be 24 pounds in 8 weeks, which is realistic if I'm doing 2 pounds a week, which is my personal goal. So in week 8, I decided that dating was getting so frustrating for me, and it was distracting me from my weight loss goal. So I decided on week 8 to just not date right now while I'm trying to focus, because dating involves eating out, going to see people, hanging out, and I'm just not ready for that right now. When I do go out, I pick something healthy, but the socialization with the opposite sex and that going out to eat, I just ain't studying all that right now. So, okay, people. So I told you about myself. I told you about my progress, my ups and downs. I feel like I was doing great until week 6 hit, and after week 6, I was still holding down the fort, but I just had to use a whole lot of coping skills. So like I said before, we talked about food addiction. I'm going to do a couple of reasons about food addiction so you guys can take things more seriously and know that I'm not playing and I'm not making this stuff up. That people are really addicted to food, and we know this because we have 600-pound life, we have 1,000-pound sisters, we have Too Large, we have a lot of video shows, TV shows that are talking about our health and obesity in this country. So food addiction is, and this is what the literature says now, the compulsive pursuit of a mood change by engaging repeatedly in episodes of binge eating despite adverse consequences. We have talked about consequences being legs rubbing together and hurting, blisters there, jeans rubbing out. We talked about leg amputations. We talked about all the different medications you're on, and but several people don't make a lifestyle change. They just take this medication and they are done, and they continue on eating as they were, and that's not the point. That's not the intent. This medication is here to assist you during your current state while we are working to get off the medication, hopefully. Food addiction keeps people from getting off these medications because it gets into a blaming game, as you can see on 600-Pound Life. There's always a period of time where nobody's taking responsibility for their actions. So it says here that food addicts are obsessed with food, preoccupied with weight and appearance, and they experience progressive loss of control over the amount of food they eat. I didn't write it. Kay Shepard wrote it. This is a book by Kay Shepard. It's called The Body Knows. And it also says that food addiction is chronic, progressive, and ultimately fatal. It means you're going to die. Okay? It is chronic because the condition never goes away, progressive because the symptoms always get worse over time, and fatal because those who persist in the disease will die an early death due to its complications. So that is food addiction, what it is. And I'm going to read 2 more paragraphs about this, and then I'm going to get off this video. Well, let's talk about obsession. With any addiction, there is obsession. That means you're always thinking about it, you're tormented with it, it's on your mind, you can't function or focus because you are obsessed with getting your drug of choice, paying for it, copying it, getting there and back. It's all got to be planned out. And it sounds simple, but let's read on. Preoccupation with food is demonstrated by frequently recurring thoughts about buying, preparing, and eating food. Thoughts originally come gently into the mind, not so with thoughts of food or for the food addict. Those thoughts rise powerfully to consciousness and allow no other thoughts to enter. See, this is an obsession. This is what we're talking about now. No matter how hard one tries to change, ideas of food predominate. The force of desire for food is irresistible and is followed by action. It is a psychological truth that we move toward our dominant thoughts. Therefore, the preoccupation with getting, preparing, and eating good food will continually lead to binging. Progressively, these thoughts crowd out all other thoughts until the food-ass life becomes chronically food-oriented, as with the people on 600-Pound Life, and as was with the 1,000-Pound Sisters that I watched this weekend. I really enjoyed that show. I didn't finish it, but I binge watched it. So that's what an obsession is about, people. Just rewind and re-listen to what I just said. And I'm going to talk about compulsion, the difference between the two. It says that compulsion or loss of control. See, at this point, you've lost control now when you get to compulsion. Because in obsession, you're ruminating about it in your mind. But compulsion is the loss of control and the inability to stop eating after one bite of binge food. So it sounds like before you take the bite, you're in obsession. You're thinking about it, you're plotting and planning how you're going to get it, who's going to pay for it, and how you're going to get it back here that time. And each time, it's another cycle about the obsession. So it says the food addict may be able to stop for indeterminate periods, but despite our resolutions, we'll binge again. Don't we all know about that? It says the inability to control eating is a certain sign of addiction. Loss of control, that is addiction. When an individual reaches the point where he or she can no longer control how much or when he eats, the line has been crossed into addiction. Brief periods of abstinence from binge eating may occur because of guilt or concern about appearance, but eventually, with the best of intentions to control it, the food addict will be off again on another binge. This is just like an alcoholic saying that I'm not drinking anymore. You could take my credit cards, take my wallet. I'm not going to do it no more. And then you have a family of people that don't believe it. There are so many food addicts that they say they're on a diet today and they're off, before the week is over with. They're eating something they shouldn't be eating. And don't try to point out whether they should be eating it. You might get bit. You might be a problem. When a person is indulging in their drug of choice, do not bother that person. It's just like you don't play with a dog while they eat. You understand? So anyway, I'll read one last sentence about this addiction stuff. It says, when control is lost, the addict has entered the crucial phase of addiction and will never again be able to return to control eating of binge food. After this phase is reached, the addict will not be able to predict how much binge food will be enough. As we know, tolerance goes up. You may have started out with 1 cigarette, maybe 3 a day, then you progress to a half a pack, and then a whole pack. Addiction is addiction. So, that's all I have for this week, folks. I hope everybody is looking at their own food and paying attention to their own plate and just trying to move around a little bit more each day. That's all I have, folks. Have a great week.